All right, let's take a look at structures of writing. So we have five basic topics to talk about here for structures of writing. So first of all, we'll look at order, such as like spatial order or chronological order, making sure we know the difference between those. Basically what the thesis statement needs to include and not include. Different types of essays, types of characters, such as like rounded versus flat versus dynamic. Do we know how to differentiate those? And then a little bit about themes and text complexity at the end. Okay, so we've got 5 questions here that we're going to be trying to address throughout the video, and then this whole same screen will show up at the end so we can see if you can answer them. So order defined by genre, rules for title of an essay, persuasive versus cause and effect essays, what is a dynamic character, how does a teacher assess text complexity? Okay. So looking at order. In spatial order, items are arranged according to their physical position or relationships. What someone sees as they walk into a room is a typical spatial order example. Chronological order is time-based and would have a defined sequence and steps. Cause and effect involve a this-then relationship, such as I did this, then this happened. Okay, so that would be chronological order. Order defined by genre is a predetermined type of writing. Filling out a form of some kind or standard procedures to be followed are order defined by genre. So that's probably the one that's confused the most. I think spatial order, chronological order, people could pretty much guess at just by what the words mean. Order defined by genre, sometimes people get tricked up on that one a little bit. Order of importance is exactly what it sounds like. News stories put the most important stuff first. Order of interest is based on the reader. If level of interest is low, then the writer needs to have something interesting very early in their writing. And hierarchical order involves a ranking system of some kind, usually from most to least important. And before we jump there, I didn't include it, but there's also logical order can show up. Logical order often utilizes inductive or deductive reasoning. So just thinking logical should fit into logic. That could be a question. Which of these uses inductive or deductive reasoning? That would be logical order. Okay, for the thesis statements, this is shown up in more than one video and more than one section of the app. The introduction of an essay contains the thesis statement. It is usually either the first or last sentence of the opening paragraph. Remembering that thesis statement is an opinion. It's not a fact, right? The thesis statement, you're trying to make a statement about something that you're going to back up with the rest of your paper with facts and examples. When looking at essays, the title of an essay is centered and the main words are capitalized. It is not to be underlined, have quotes around it, or be in italics. Okay, so I believe that was one of our questions, was it not? What are the rules for title of an essay? There, that second question. Again, title of an essay, it needs to be centered. The main words are capitalized. Those are the 2 things you need to know. Okay, a persuasive essay is one in which the author is trying to convince us of something. They back up their opinions with facts, data, and examples. Cause and effect essays are really very similar to persuasive, and they can easily be confused. Cause and effect tend to have already happened, such as if you were talking about a war or an election or something like that, while a persuasive essay is trying to convince you of an opinion or a point of view. And I believe that was one of our questions as well, how to differentiate persuasive and cause and effect. If an essay starts with a bigger group and then breaks the group into categories, then it's a classification essay. For example, an essay in which a financial expert reviews several popular stocks and groups the stocks by sector, such as technology, oil and gas, retail, then it's a classification essay. Okay, looking at characters. So really we want to be looking here at rounded, dynamic, flat, and static, right? Those would probably be like 4 choices in a multiple choice question. A rounded character is anyone who has a complex personality. He or she is often portrayed as a conflicted and contradictory person. A dynamic character is a person who changes over time, usually as a result of resolving a central conflict. So a rounded character doesn't necessarily change over time, right? They might be conflicted, right? They are conflicted, but it doesn't, just because they are conflicted does not necessarily mean that they change. A flat character has one kind of personality trait or characteristic. A static character is someone who does not change over time. The central idea, which must be universal, is the theme. And you want to be familiar with several examples of themes that you can recognize. The nature of humanity could easily be a theme. Well, it could not be a plot, a thesis statement, or an exposition. There can be more than one theme in a piece of work. It should be a universal idea, such as fate and free will, fear of failure, circle of life, things like that. Those are all themes. And then finally, with text complexity, if you're trying to assess text complexity, a teacher should consider sentence length, and word frequency first. Okay, then we jump back into our questions. All right, so we definitely answered all 5 of these through this video. So great thing to do now, hit that pause button and see if you can answer them yourself.